Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
All right, we're live. Are we going to be talking about scholarships for our community?
Yes, we are talking about scholarships for students and what the Whittemore Alumni Association is doing to make sure that the community stays united to support education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excuse our audience, excuse our abruptness, but we just had to get to the point tonight and just start talking about the scholarship, right, April?
Yep, something like that. Something like that. How you doing tonight, Brother Edward?
I'm doing fine. Great. What about you, Ms. Juneteenth?
I am doing well. Yes, we're going to be talking about Juneteenth as well, and
bunch of stuff,
yeah,
man.
we got a couple of things that lots going on this upcoming weekend. But before we even get into the weekend, today was the elections were happening today. Voting.
Yeah. Good luck to everybody who's running. That's all I can say.
Okay. Good luck to all of us. Good luck to all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we hope that everyone had an opportunity to get out and vote for the candidate of your choice. And that's a different. We're gonna have to have a different show for that one, brother.
Right. Absolutely. But I hope that you voted. And there's nothing like a good educational vote to know what we're up against and who you should be voting for and whatever. But you use your own discretion, viewers. So we're not telling you all who to vote for, but I'm saying just use your own discretion and just make sure you exercise that right, which we fought so hard for. Okay, we've lost a lot of lives for. Okay.
Yeah. And not only in just the national elections, but I mean, these local elections are happening in state elections, and they're actually more important than the national elections because
absolutely, that's the grassroots.
That's grassroots, and that affects us immediately. Immediately,
Yeah, right. It doesn't get any better. Than that, or stronger than that. I might want to add.
Exactly.
And we've got some. So and a good way to start that is making sure that people are educated to voting. Voting is just just don't go out there because somebody told you this person is good, this person is bad. But we want to add, want to assist our young people in getting to that point by making sure that they get an education, good education right now. And there's no other way better to do that than to assist them monetarily with scholarships.
Oh, yeah, because college costs are very high. Yeah.
That's now you're talking about. They keep talking about a housing crisis is going to explode. It's this tuition crisis. I mean, it's loan crisis for our children just to get an education. I look for that to go through a threshold and just fall off the cliff at some point. Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, and you know what I think. I believe that when it starts affecting or impacting these institutions of higher learning, that's when we'll see some movement, because when the default rates hit them because people aren't able to pay those loans back,
absolutely,
then we'll have some other people standing up to say, hey, wait a minute, some things need to change, so
right.
And that probably hasn't happened so much. And that's why it's a struggle for just the common person to get the point across about why the reform is needed. And education reform is needed, especially when it comes down to higher ed. And I'm personally impacted. I know a lot of people who are personally impacted, especially if they have attempted to earn advanced degrees, and they probably need those advanced degrees in order to be promoted on their jobs and to do what they need to do as far as their goals. But when it becomes unaffordable, it becomes unattainable. And so that's why it's important for us to make sure that as a village, we're doing all we can to support our young people if they aspire to go to college. And, even in the workforce, they need job skills training and things like that to make sure that they can have a sustainable life and lifestyle. And so, what better way to do it than to pull the community together, all in the spirit of education and, create these opportunities. And so that's why we have with us today some members of the Whittemore Alumni Association who are going to be talking with us about the scholarships that were distributed this year, but also some of the work that's being done through the association. And as you know, we now have a new president, new leadership with the Whittemore Alumni Association. And President Annis Alston-Staley is doing a magnificent job of, getting everyone organized in thought and energizing everyone to do some things. And so we had her and some of the officers maybe a few months ago to introduce everyone and promised to bring back the association to make sure that the community remains updated on what's happening. And so since then, some scholarships have been awarded, and we're going to see those recipients tonight.
Really?
in a little tribute that we put together for them. And
that's nice.
And then we're just going to talk about some of the things that we aspire to do, but also we have a very special guest with us tonight, Mary Skinner Jones. She's going to help us walk down memory lane, and we were doing that in the pre-show when they were kind of picking on you, Brother Edward. So we're going to revisit that conversation in just a minute. And we had a couple of us, so be ready. We had a couple of other guests who were going to join us tonight. And unfortunately, their schedules would not allow them to be here, and different matters would not allow them to be here. But we do have two dynamic individuals who will talk about it. So talk about what the Whittemore Alumni Association is all about, and then take us down memory lane. And then I just want to remind the viewers that if you have any questions or comments, you can use the thread on Facebook or YouTube, and we will see your comments and questions and moderate those comments and questions for our special guests. And so, Brother Edward, should we go ahead and kick it off? Go ahead and make it happen.
Let's do that.
All right. Well,
dynamic guests are.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have President Annis Alston-Staley of Whittemore Alumni Association, along with Mary Skinner Jones. How are you doing tonight, ladies?
Doing fine, thank you.
All right, looking good.
Well, I got my gold on.
All right. All right. Miss Mary, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
All right, awesome.
You're taking a while to buffer there, Miss Jones.
Yeah, Miss Mary's buffering a little bit. So Miss Annis, first of all, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And
Mr. Curly Brown.
And thank you. Yeah, Miss Mary is definitely buffering, and she sounds like she has a delay. And thank you for your vision for how you want to move the association forward. And so before we get into that, Miss Mary, has it buffered? Have you caught up with us yet?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have you two to just kind of introduce yourselves and tell our audience who you are, how you're connected to Whittemore. And I know that a lot of people probably know you, but there are probably even more who don't. So why don't we start with President Staley?
Okay, good evening, and thank you for inviting us again. And I'm always excited about getting on the broadcast with you two, because you'll bring out the best. And it's always a pleasure to come back to talk about something that I enjoy so much. And it's really been a pleasure since we started our campaign. And I said that I knew I could help, but I had to figure out in what way. And how you all opened the broadcast was really interested. You started talking about voting today and the education of that, and just not voting for someone that somebody tell you who to vote, because your vote today will affect you tomorrow. And I think our children, our young adults, they need a little bit more than just a dollar. They need mentorship while they are making that transition. And the one thing that we've been talking about in our group, we've been saying that we're not just going to have a dance at Christmas and apply some money. Our goal is to start in September. As a matter of fact, we are making calls now to start meeting with the high school to get involved with the counselors, be a part of that, so that we can start giving our children, our young adults, the things that we got at Whittemore. They're getting the education and they're exposed to more, but the thing that they miss is that little nurturing of someone being able to say, now sit down, let's talk about this. So that's our role. So it's not going to be a fundraiser one time. It is going to be fundraising all year. And that's going to be like a byproduct of the Alumni Association, because we think that the dollar is good, but it's the other things, because once they go to school, then what happens to them? You go try to connect them to people or a person. We're putting together a list of educators that will be available, make themselves available virtually, to start working with the young adults one-on-one if necessary. I constantly see, especially, let's just talk about sports real quick, how so many of them go out and get these scholarships and go off to college, and they're not able to function. And if we can get at this level as the young adults moving into that, we'll be able to better prepare them, not only to know how to vote, but financially how to handle their own personal money. And that kind of thing is the part that's missing. So we see our role, a much broader role. And I tell you, it's exciting how we had a wonderful executive meeting the first of the month. We had 7 legacy members, and legacy members are children or grandchildren of folks that has gone to Whittemore. They're coming on, and how excited they are, and they're bringing their talents to help us with this project. So I am very excited. Again, you'll ask me who I am. Again, I'm Alston-Staley. I left Whittemore in 1963. And since then, I had the opportunity of moving around the country, picked up a lot of skills that I'm able to use now, and then come back to Conway and add something that there's a gap that I feel as if I'll be able to help. So I am really excited about, I was chosen for this position, and they said I had 2 years. So I'm going to try to do what I'm going to do in 2 years.
Are you on probation?
Lay a foundation, and hopefully it'll pick it up and move forward.
Yeah, he asked if you were on probation. No, she's not on probation. We don't even have to go through those channels. She's in it to win it.
This says 2 years. Okay, I can handle it for 2 years. So now, and no, we can decide whether that's gonna stay 2 years. It's like, okay, wait. But I'm having a good time. Really,
we'll buy that. We'll buy that. Both of you look two beautiful women, with the legacy to compound everything, both from the Whittemore era, Miss Jones and Miss Staley. I know Miss Jones has a lot to talk about. Well, you know, April?
Yeah. Well, Miss Mary, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
My name is Mary Skinner Jones, and everybody know me as Edna. So whenever no matter where I am, if I hear somebody say, I know it's Conway. So to piggyback off of what Annis was saying, I'm reminded of something that Miss Mildred Vereen said to me about 10 years ago. She said, Edna, she said, I think it's so good that y'all go away, but you never come back. I said, Miss Mildred, don't say that. She said, y'all go away and you get so much talent, but you need to bring what you have back home. And I think that's the sentiment that I'm hearing Anna say, that we're bringing it back. And because we had such a foundation at Whittemore High School. I mean, that's something I will never forget. And that's the strength that I pulled on, because they expected so much out of us. And it was a proud day graduated from Whittemore High School. And you feel like everybody's family. We're family. We're a part of each other. And that's the part that I love to reconnect with people that went to Whittemore. And one of the things, Annis, that you were saying about the young people now, and that's something that really, because my sons are grown. I have a lot of sons yet to rear. When I go down the street and I see young men with the pants hanging down, I'll say something, hey, you a good looking brother. Why you got your pants down? And they'll turn around. All they want from us is to be acknowledged. And I think we grew up with the foundation, expectations from our teachers. If they put it in us, on the outside and make you get. So I'm just proud to see Annis back home. I'm happy about each of you and what you're doing, and you're contributing back to the community. And believe it or not, I share it with friends all over the country about what my hometown is doing. So I'm proud to be a part of that. And we're talking about voting. You know, politics has always kind of been my thing. And I think back about the Martin Luther King March in '63. They didn't have social media. They had the church. We had things in the church. And I think the churches need to step up and not wait till time to vote somebody come in and start educating young people about the importance. That's what we're working on in Columbia right now. And the other part is I know Representative Neal before he died. I don't know if we know about this. Did you know that South Carolina and Clemson University get triple the money that we get from the state? He was working on making it even. That South Carolina State got just as much money as Clemson. So those are things when you say about the lesson, they're very important. But we sit here. I'm tired of talking. We gotta, the Bible says, faith without work is dead. So we need to do the work. And that's my take on things. And I'm glad to see the alumni really, 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 really taking it to another level.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ms. Jones, I got to pick on you for a while. So, Ms. Edna Jones, I got to pick on you for a while.
I know you do.
Well, both of you look really good people. I keep saying that because it's so good to see you all. Ms. Jones, can you tell us about the organization that you're working with in Columbia, and you're an integral part of that? And are you an official contact person for us? If we
work with the it's Renaissance Foundation. It was started in 1996 and became a 501c3 in 2001, and it was started as human service programs. They provided computer training to senior and youth in the community. Right. One of the things I like about we do all kind of like health initiative. We don't do it. We provide the platform and partner with other organizations to implement programs. Because when I worked at, when we did Drew Center, one of the things that we did, and I think about this often, that we don't do enough of, but we were able to get that center because we partnered with other organization in the center, because health disparities is a big thing in our community. We don't talk a lot about that. So the Renaissance Foundation is set up to address health disparities in the community and provide a platform to address those. And whoever we could partner with, whoever it is doing it, we give them this support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, education is a big.
Yeah, I asked you about that because I think you iterated a number of times to me and in the past, and and I never really went into depth or even asked you to go into depth exactly what y'all occurred. But I saw there were a couple of things that were it was noted that the late Dr. Finney was part of that.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, see,
Finney.
this is Judge Junior.
Yeah, right.
Well, one of the things I had a hard time, believe it or not, doing that because, and we're no longer in charge of historic Bethel because it was our charge was to have it done by 2020. We did not make that deadline. There was a pandemic at that time. The AME Church has since they're responsible, but I know Lynn Finney we have a cultural arts center that will implement the same thing. So we're very, very supportive of her and what she's doing. But I think the most important thing when I started with the foundation was the historical aspects of it. There's a thing, and you might know of this, Mr. McQueen, about the United Black Fund, because I think they had a big chapter in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the South Carolina United Black Fund. And they have a Hall of Fame where they honor all the recipients are natives of South Carolina. And so what we're doing is preserving history because you have so many people. It's mind-boggling people that do many things because America wrote barbershop 2 or 3 right here from Columbia. You have a lady that was on that was just, but you got so many people from South Carolina where our lineage it stands beyond us at Whittemore. I'm just when I hear about people from Whittemore and what they're doing, it makes you proud.
Absolutely. Well, look, yeah, you all have some scholarship money also, right? to dispense. Is that correct?
That's true. And it's interesting. Our administration really got started.
The Renaissance Foundation, the monies that we collected for the foundation, it went to the restoration of historic Bethel. That was an $8.5 million project, and it will get done. I think the new Finney Cultural Arts Center is either 2.5 or whatever, and they could do a lot of things, I think, with tax credits. And that's something I don't know what's needed in Conway, but I think that we need to bring everything. I suggested that we have a think tank. I think Ennis and I and Harold talked about a think tank where everybody kind of come together and look at our community as to, it's no one person can do it, but I'll bring what I know, you bring what you know, and if we all come together, we could get it done.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So look,
if you had to think of one thing right now, what is the most needed thing in common? Pardon? I didn't hear you.
So you were asking what is the one thing that's most needed right now? You're buffering
in Conway, yeah.
Okay. Well, to me, they're all almost on the same level. Everything is paramount in Conway. I mean, you need a lot of stuff. I mean, at the same level. But Edna, let's hopefully one of them is scholarship. Okay, for our students. Okay, so we're just going to get want you all to kind of let's dwell on this, and I think the Whittemore alumni with his legacy has the potential, I believe, to be the forefront of all of that in terms of raising more money and the dispensation of money. Like Anna suggested, like having more than one event per year. It's not out of the realm of having 4 events per year. Okay, but we need a place of our own. Okay, When I say of our own, that it's a community where you can use it. It's designated for that. You can use it anytime you want to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, having said that, Annis, do you have you been in any conversations with anybody regarding, and you're in real estate?
Oh, thanks.
I'm not going to ask you personally on this there, but but you're in real estate. Is there anything that's missing that we should be talking about in terms of acquiring something for that magnitude, for that, not particularly for that particular reason, but they have it there whenever we need it.
Right.
It could be of other uses also. It could be a multi-use facility, by the way.
It's interesting you asking that.
Don't want to put you on the spot.
No, well, I mean, that's okay.
Okay.
In our executive, we had one young lady that, you remember her name, April?
I think it was Tracy Williams, I believe is her name. Well, she's related to the Only family.
Okay. She, believe it or not, was living in North Carolina. Is that right?
I think so, yes.
North Carolina. She just purchased a building in Conway, and I haven't seen it yet. And it seems like she's trying to do a multi situation there. I think I'm gonna be in Conway on Thursday. I'm gonna go check it out to see what she has. But in my moving around, that's been kind of what I think is kind of my goal. That there need to be a central place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, Mary asked the question, what do you see as an opportunity? After coming back and start working in Conway, the thing that I see that she was talking about, a think tank, if we're able in Conway to start working together, the other things that we can get done.
Right.
But I sense there is division and people have kind of gone off and kind of doing their own thing. And the reason I say that is that I was going to talk about that tonight. The Whittemore High School was combined in 1970. I think 1970 was the last class. And luckily the troopers that were left in that stayed in Conway, they had to fight to maintain that name. Well, 53 years later, guess what's getting ready to happen? They're getting ready to relocate the school.
Getting ready to do what?
Relocate the school.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen to that name? That's part of that think tank thinking of a community working together. I've had an opportunity to talk to people.
Right.
I've had an opportunity to talk to folks in Georgetown. They have a very strong alumni. Now, you know that when we were in high school, those was our rivalries, especially Georgetown. And everybody was always at Whittemore. I mean, it was like if they beat Whittemore in anything, they were fine. But and I always looked at, and I'm sure they probably looked at their school the same way. I felt that we were always the nucleus of that. And a lot of people, the good news about the alumni now, you don't have to be in Conway to participate. Ever since we've been into COVID, we Zoom and everything now. So you can participate in this process without being in Conway.
Yeah.
It's easy for us. The legacy is coming on. The children is coming on. But I wanted some alumnus also to join. Now it's going to take, maybe a half a day. But if we can be at the forefront, because we're calling the young folks because they are strong. We should be the one that's advising. and helping based on our experience. And we got some qualified folks that are in Conway all over the country that can make contributions back to this project. Now, as I said earlier, there's going to be a relocation of Whittemore Park.
I think most of us are aware of that, and we know where it's going to be. I think, but the question is what to do with the Whittemore Middle School, which is where it used to be Whittemore High School.
Right.
But April, at some point, can we have a?
We should try to get it.
What do you think?
But at least
let her finish making her point.
Yeah,
and then,
I'm just gonna let
but
you
the
know.
point is, what is going to happen to that name?
Right.
See, we'll sit and wait until the 11th hour, then we got to go fight again. This is the thing we should be dealing with now. Make sure it's ingrained and it's part of the structure. We there's so many fronts and there's so many people available, and I do believe once they see kind of where we're trying to go with this administration, I think they'll come on. But we have to get the communication to break through that we're not about a dance only. Now we will dance, but we need to do the work. And the work is about being a pillar of Conway and Horry County, because this was the county too. And we can compete with Florence and with Wilson and Howard because
Georgetown.
And that's right. So it's here. I mean, I feel real good about the young people coming on, but we really have to work with get more alumni involved. We'll need your money now. We'll definitely need scholarship money, but also your participation in the structure that we're trying to set up.
I think we've had a really good opening to the conversation about the importance of the Whittemore Alumni Association and trying to reunite everyone, the alums, but also the legacy. I'm, for example, a legacy member because my mother graduated in '62. And to Ms. Annis's point, we had about 7 legacy members or 7 persons who are part of the legacy to join us in a meeting on June the 6th, and they're all excited about what's to come, and we want to get involved. We want to help to preserve the legacy of Whittemore High School, and because it's a very rich history. And so as we work towards that, I think all of the points that we've made, everything from the talk about politics to economics and everything in between, as a community, if we unite and we show that our power and our influence matters and is very impactful through this association, then there's really nothing that we can't do to move the needle and shift the atmosphere in Conway, Horry County, Georgetown County, wherever an alum resides and wherever a legacy resides. And so it's apparent that is far reaching because I'll just say this, some of the new members that attended the meeting on June 6th, we had someone who actually resides in San Antonio, Texas. We had a couple of people who reside in the Columbia area. We had someone who resides down in the Beaufort area. We have someone, from right here in Conway, and then the young lady who will be moving here from Raleigh after she gets her business in order. And, that's what's appealing as well. The fact that, even though there are lots of us who are in and about the country and doing different things, there's still that connection to Whittemore. It's a very strong connection. And so what we're going to talk about in the second half of the show, we are going to take that walk down memory lane. We are going to do that because I want to hear the stories. But also we're going to showcase the 2022 scholarship recipients and talk a little bit about what's happening with our scholarship, and also I'll give you some information on how you can continue to donate to the association, because as Ms. Anna said, instead of just waiting until the end of the year to have one major fundraiser, we're going to be doing it all year long. But also there's some events and happenings that we are talking about right now, and I say we because again I'm also a part of the association now. And it's very motivating and encouraging to hear some of the great ideas that are coming across the table. And so we're going to take a little small break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue this conversation. How about that, Brother Edward?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Let's get both of our guests are smiling. At least one of them.
Yeah, well, Miss Mary's probably on delay, but she'll be smiling in a minute.
She's freezing up on it.
And to our audience, you have time to share this broadcast before we get to the good stuff. So the really good stuff. So we'll be back.
Real good stuff,
yeah, we'll be right back in just a moment. right, Brother Edward, we are back.
Live.
It's live, yeah.
Live,
yes, we are live. Yes, yes. And so we want to thank all of our viewers tonight for being with us and for commenting. Thank you, Vonda Cookie Vandross Brown, who is one of the newest members of the Whittemore Alumni Association. We really do appreciate you. She's in Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you, Carolyn Hickman Williams, for being here. And of course, Priscilla Fuller. I don't think we can have a broadcast without Miss Priscilla because she's always here.
Yeah.
She's always here. And of course, Margie McIver, the icon. She's here tonight. Thank you, Darryl Brown, for chiming in as well. He was giving you props and kudos, Miss Annis, for your real estate skills. And Janet Lawrence Patton, thank you so much for joining us. And please comment, or, if you have any questions, please let us know. Sister Joella, she, of course, is always encouraging us through the broadcast. Thank you so much, Sister Joella, as well, for even for having this platform for us. Yeah, we appreciate it. So I know that everyone is anxious to see more about the scholarship recipients. And so, Ms. Annis, can we get into that part and go ahead and talk about the significance of the annual scholarship and what our strategy was for this year and how we're going to move into the remainder of the year with our scholarship recipients?
Yes, our strategy this year was basically just to try, because I think we didn't award them one year or something. We missed a year, and we didn't hit the ground until really mid-March. Our goal was still to make the goal and get as many as we could. So we were still able to get at least 7 already funded. And I think we have 3 more left that we are revisiting. So so we can still make that goal hopefully this year for 10 for 2022. And
wow, that's determination.
yeah, oh yes, it was about making it happen. And it was, and the further we got into it, we were beginning to feel like, yes, we can do this. And what we are seeing is that hopefully we'll be able to start our funding for 2023, starting probably in August. Our goal is to start in August for 2023. So when we get into March, April, we'll have that already banked and we'll be moving forward. I have no intentions of scrambling at the 11th hour. Our intention is to start funding and what I'd always call front loading everything and just getting things done early and not waiting to the 11th hour. And we're going to put our shoulders to the wheel as members, and we're going to be responsible for raising so much money ourselves. So we're going to have individual fundraising, and then we have event fundraising. And then that way we know we'll come up to exactly where we want to be. Now, how we plan to do this next year, we will have our website up, and we're going to work with the counselors, and we're going to have a link on the website where that the recipients will go directly into the website and fill out the application. And then the application will come directly back to April. And the reason we're saying that is because there was quite a few people this year that applied, and the applications are missing. They don't know what happened. We're going to try to correct some of that. The one thing that I told the group that we're not, when you're taking over an organization, there's no blame to put on anyone. What we are moving forward to do is just making it happen. When you sit around and start pointing fingers, you're just wasting time. Our goal is to try to figure out the opportunities and working with the students in the schools before they graduate. We'll get to know a little bit about them anyway. So we're going to try to be that link that may have been missing, and to work with them along the way and starting out as early as 9th grade if we see we have an opportunity. So I'm really excited about next year because we've kind of put 22 in history and we're moving forward to 2023. So that's kind of our plan for now.
All right. Well, and on that note, would you like for us to go ahead and kick off the tribute and unveil the 7 recipients of this year's scholarships? And again, as President Staley has said, we're working on including at least 3 more, hopefully by the end of the summer before they actually go off to school. Right. And I can tell you that these students are eager because we already have at least one who has submitted their verification for their enrollment. And so, they're like, I need my money. I need my scholarship. I'm on the way. But, they leave early. They have to settle into their campuses and all of that. And so I think that's awesome. And, it's wonderful to see these students, move into their future and to, go to the schools that they aspire to walk through. And so we're going to play a little tribute to them and show you the 7 recipients, and then we'll be right back.
right.
It is.
Hey, April, that was great. That was great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Good
Yeah.
looking group. Good looking group.
I'm telling beautiful. This is
Yeah.
beautiful students. I'm telling you, and so talented, just doing amazing things. I'm just the brain trust there. They're, all of them geniuses, obviously.
Isn't that amazing?
And they're going to change the world.
It's amazing how, you see them, got the pictures and it's like, wow. I mean, somebody's figured out something. And see that what I'd like to see, our goal is we have more of those students looking like that, and if you can start with them early, and we can start early, see, and we're not going to cap, how much money we're going to raise. I mean, I got a goal in my mind, but we're not going to cap it. And I think if we can just start now of just working it and getting into these churches and working with the pastors, because I heard Mary speak about that earlier, of because this is where these children are coming from, these different communities. I mean, this can be really something that you really don't know the power that we really have. And we just go exercise it. I noticed that the Owens, Jen Owens, she has every Friday morning, she has a group of retired folks that she gathered together, and that has just grown. She's been working it. It takes time. You have to go to work. And that's really our goal, is just to start working, and people will be expecting us to come. Now, for the last couple of years, there wasn't a fundraiser, but we want everybody to know it's open. And I think April gave you the address. By next month, we will have PayPal down at one of the banks. So you'll be able to go there and make a contribution, and you won't have to mail anything in. And we're going to try to make this fundraising as easy as possible. So when we do have a function, it's not all about the money, because we've been fundraising and just so we can go there and really have fun. The raising we're going to try to do all year. But the events we have, we're going to really try to just go and have a good time. And I say, I'm sorry.
We're going to take the D out of fun, right?
That's right. And to have fun. And I think we do get together as a group. We really can enjoy each other, and talk about the old times and let that be a part of it, so the legacies can actually see what happened and what caused us to have so much pride in what we're doing and why, actually why we're doing it. So, good things just bring on more good people. So I'm just excited.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited. We're excited to have somebody so inciting like you as the president. Not that the past administration was bad.
No. I don't.
Yeah. They hung in there for 20 some years, 30 years.
It did. Really have.
Yeah, and they hung in there, and they gave scholarships.
Right.
So
yeah.
Kudos to them.
Mm-hmm.
So Ms. Jones, you're on muted there. You're muted there. So I wanted to ask you a question, but yeah, you're muted. But that's okay. That's okay.
Unmute, so, you might hear me here. Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question. I know we're doing scholarships for children going to college. How are we differentiating that? Because now a lot of kids go to technical schools. So will we be giving scholarships for technical schools? And the other question I had, does anyone any idea how many alumnus there are of Whittemore?
Oh, wow.
I mean, just say thousands, or you gotta be.
It's thousands.
And I was just thinking of a easy, it's not a fundraiser. What if every Whittemore alumnus pledge $100 a year? If you get that many people, we've covered the scholarships. If you put in your budget $10 a month, that we've given $100 a year. You get 600 people to do that. Just think how much money we would raise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm saying, you know, you can make pledges, and I got that from this. You know, Miss Jones, I can't give you $100, but I might give you 20. So what about it? All numbers, you know, you ask somebody for $100, they may not be able to give you 100 one time. But if you say, okay, give me $10, put $10 a month in your budget for a year. Mm-hmm. You know, that's $120 per person. And all those alumni, if we could get 200 or 300 to commit to that, think how much money you would have for scholarship. It would be covered. Mm-hmm. And we'd be able to give more. I mean, that's just a thought.
Right. Well, no, see, that's what happens when like-minded people get together. In our last meeting, that's what we talked about in the group. We said, guys, this is the deal. Mm-hmm. We're going to pledge. Now, I'm not asking nobody to pay it. We did it differently. We're just asking to bring it. Okay. So it's that kind of thing of saying, individually, I'm going to be responsible for this amount. And I can go and get my friends, my classmates, my whoever, or I can write a check. But that way, you for sure you got your baseline, and then you stepped up to a different level. Now your idea is the $100 per alumnus, okay? Which is another one of those thinking. I don't have to.
I'm just, you know, it could be.
Sure, great idea.
I think it is a great idea. And Vonda says that her class, the class of 89, she's already putting something together where they will donate the minimum amount of $89 per classmate and donate that to the Whittemore Alumni Scholarship. So, you know, those class challenges, and I think we talked about that in one of the executive meetings, where you would issue the challenge to the class. And for example, it could be, each class member, like she's doing, the $67 if it were 1967, or it could be $19.67. To Miss Mary's point, it's whatever you can afford. And just know that it's going to a great cause, and also 501c3 pending. And that means that, it'll be tax deductible. And what a beautiful way to give back to the community. This money is all going to scholarships for our students and for Whittemore descendants. And so it's a wonderful endeavor. And I just want to make a point that, all of the planning that's on the table is wonderful, but the association needs to grow.
Right.
And so earlier, Miss Mary mentioned, how many alums do we have? And how many are active, how many are willing to participate? I think that's the biggest part of the endeavor, because we want to make sure that we have a very strong membership so that there aren't just a handful of us doing all of the work, because this is a lot of work. I mean, this could be a full-time organization. It really could be. And so if you are listening and you are a Whittemore alum, if you are a descendant of a Whittemore alum, faculty member, or staff member, we would love to have you on board. And what we're doing is an onboarding meeting that happens at the executive officer meeting at the beginning of the month. And it's just a way for you to be introduced to all the officers, for President Staley to talk to you about what the goals are and what our needs are. And I mean, just at the June 6th meeting, we identified people who could do PR, people who were willing to do fundraising and membership, people who were willing to help with the technology. And that's what this village concept is all about. Everybody coming together and bringing their strengths to the table so that we can grow it. And if we do it that way, it won't take us long.
It won't take us long
to meet our goals.
Yeah.
And Veronica is in the background, and I want to bring her on, but I'm not sure if she's hearing me, Veronica Gerald, because she was instrumental in helping with the scholarship piece this year. And so, Ms. Anderson, can you talk a little bit about some of the ideas behind the scholarship piece as well?
Is she on?
I wanted to bring her on, and I'm going to just go ahead and add her to the stream. Veronica, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, great. There she is.
I've been listening to you.
All right. I was sending you messages and I'm like, I don't know if she's getting them or not, but we're glad you're here. I know you were busy tonight.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, thank you. Y'all been having a very good conversation, and I'm learning a lot.
Well, we learn from you since you're the class of what, 68, 70?
68.
68. Yeah,
Well,
right,
actually, when I first talked to Annie, she said that we were going to talk about Whittemore and what Whittemore means or meant to us. But then when I got on board, you were talking, so I didn't want to. Tell me where to step in.
Just tell them your story.
Right where you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell them your story that we talked about.
I can't hear her.
Okay, who can't hear me?
Miss Mary, but I think it's on Miss Mary's end because everything is clear. Yeah. She's buffering a little bit and has a delay.
Yeah, I really I'm glad to have an opportunity to tell this story because I happen to have like a 24-hour experience with Whittemore because I lived in front of it. So the school never went away. So you guys went home, and it's you and the Sand Ridge people took the bus. Mary, you walked around to the Pines or wherever. But I stayed there at Whittemore, so it had a life of its own that's not being talked about because it had a nightlife. It was across from a club. It was across from a church. It was across from a funeral home, and it was across from a neighborhood. So it had a life of its own that went on all day. So we're talking about Village, April. The Whittemore building, the actual land that it sits on, was like the center of that village. And I felt that way, especially after going to Africa and seeing how they have the schools in the center of the village. And everything.
Veronica, we lost your audio.
In and out.
That we lost our audio. Well, maybe she'll.
Children.
There it is.
You there?
Veronica, we're losing your audio.
Okay. I don't know why, but are you hearing me now at all?
Yes, we can hear you now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I have it. So what I was saying is that when you lived in the community with the school, it becomes a presence that's ever present, and it has its own life 24/7.
Right.
And it's not something that we all think about because y'all went home. But Mr. and Mr. Robinson and his sister, they were the maid and the janitor at the school. They stayed until about 7, cleaning the windows and mowing the lawn with the push mowing thing. And we had to do what they said while we were outside playing. And it was just a kind of community that I don't think we even realized it because it was so natural. And so that's one of the things about Whittemore. And the other thing is I went to Conway High at 15. The first of the group to go over there. It was voluntary. And what they wanted to do was to experiment to see how integration would work. And so certain kids from the African American schools were sent to the white schools as a kind of dog and pony show, if you would say, where we would they would see whether we were eligible, capable, and even worthy of being schooled along with them.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't verbal, but that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
When I went there and took my Whittemore grade point average, I became the first African American junior marshal at Conway High.
Right.
And it kicked some of the people off that were going to be on it if I had not transferred to Conway High. So it was kind of a not a good feeling for whoever the person was that got bumped because his average wasn't high as mine. But that's what we had to go through. So there were 5 of us in the first class to graduate, 4 boys and me. And the guys had an easier go of it because I guess guys are different. Is that right, Edward?
I wouldn't know.
A guy is different than women, girls.
I wouldn't know. I'm very honest.
But anyway, they played sports together and kind of got along. But the one thing that I was sharing with Annis is that when I went over there, I really didn't know that we were smarter because we were kind of taught or led to believe that we were subordinate because of our education. Our teachers were not as highly whatever, in their view. And so when I went over there, I guess I took some of that with me, thinking that I was going to learn this out of the world educational experience. And I was telling her, the teacher said, "Does anyone know where hurricanes come from?" And no one in the class knew. And I was like, "Sure, I know where hurricanes come from," because you remember the weekly readers we used to have, and we had to read the little science stuff and all of that. And plus, my mother made me watch National Geographic on Saturday. So I said, hurricanes come from Africa, and they come out of warm waters. That's because when things happen, and I explained that. And when I looked up at the class, they were amazed. That, I guess that is amazing. I wonder how many kids know where hurricanes come from today.
A lot of them don't. They don't know.
That's right.
But anyway, that's how and I was telling Annis that my plan had been to kind of stay under the radar and survive. That put me on Front Street.
Right.
Because my trump card was out that, yes, we do know more than you. And yes, I was appropriately a junior marshal. They wanted to make excuses, and it was Preston Floyd, Michael Avant, Michael Hughes, and Owens from Bucksport. I can never remember his name, and myself. The 5 of us were in the senior class. We were the first to graduate from Conway High.
Wow.
Okay.
And Whittemore, I always tell people, Whittemore did the infrastructure. I was 15 when I left the village with a strong infrastructure. So Whittemore is behind it all.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Brother Edward and
Sister Veronica, was that the main building that you left out of?
That I was.
Or was that the 7th grade building that right in the back of? That was the main building.
I lived. My neighborhood was the most diverse neighborhood in Conway. I had the school, I had the club, I had the church, and I had the funeral home. Name another community in Conway that had all of that.
Yeah.
And pretty much on the same block.
In the same block.
You didn't see nobody say anything about it. I guess because it was entertainment. But I think we should add as Mr. Matthew Rue as part of a major part of the history there, growing up there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, when you mentioned mentioned a hurricane, I thought there's all the fun that I guess everybody used to have there at the canteen. But I I just, you know, I was very young, but I call that, and I thought that was, to me, it was a major place for everybody to go to. My mom was kind of strict on me, so.
Was.
So you didn't get
She
a
probably needed to be.
Yeah, she thought I was a baby, you know, too young. All that kind of
right.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, canteen was the place to go.
I know.
Yeah, that was right next door to your house, right? I mean, right
Across the street. People
Across the street.
always were
Mhm.
wondering. My mother was strict on me too, Edward. They say, well, how do you know every single dance?
Mm.
I'm like, I lived across from the club that didn't have a door. You know, there was no air conditioning, so they kept the door open.
That's true.
Hmm.
That is so true. And it's interesting you saying that
Yeah.
because I got involved and got in the band, and that was my only way of getting out on Friday nights. You
That's
just-
right.
so you
You even got to travel to Marion and Columbia. And
Canteen.
and the canteen.
But you know, we didn't call it a club.
we call it the canteen, right?
Yeah. Right.
Canteen.
Right.
Canteen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't considered
I
a
like
club.
to know. Wonder where they named the canteen.
I don't know. But you know, April,
Hey,
now when they refer to places like the
Club
canteen, you know they went back to the old
Canteen.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Call it juke joint.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she brought up a
I'm
question.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, she's
Mary is
buffering.
buffering again. Mhm.
But yeah,
You brought up an interesting, and I was thinking about. Can you hear me now?
It's kind of
Can you
going
hear
in and
me?
out. Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Just keep talking.
Because
Yeah.
I want.
I think she's buffering. Well,
My
while
question
we
was, you that relocating the school. What more? Are we going to lose that name? I know there's a historical mark this. What if fight to keep that location because of
Miss Mary, we can hardly understand. We can hardly understand what you're asking because you're buffering
for
really
that
fast.
school, because you said we needed a have events that's there. Classrooms, you could have partnership with programmatic. So what do you think? Is that something? You know, I know they're fighting for the elementary school, but I'm saying this is a structure that's there in the spot where we went to school. Is this something we should really look at as alumnus of Whittemore
yes,
to make
most
sure we hold on to that name?
yes, most definitely. I'll be getting with April and some other members to see what we can do. And since you're a historical kind of person, we can bring you in. And I've talked with some folks on the Board of Education, and we have one other group, you know, the Whittemore Historical Society that's working in elementary school, and seem to be leaning towards that. But that definitely
Race path that's doing with the elementary school.
yeah. Yes. So that
And
kind of
okay.
it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But I think that the historical marker is at Whittemore, and that would be.
I just asked a question because.
Well, we'll get to that, because that's definitely and I think that should get in progress now rather than waiting for later, because we already know where the new location will be, so it's no reason. And
let me say something too.
Well, look, Mary, it's been very, very difficult trying to to keep up with your buffering. Okay, so let's
see people of a different hue.
Okay, Mary, let's you and I just kind of talk later.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Yeah,
but you
You're
know
good.
what?
Yeah, her buffering is
I want to hear what she says. Okay, so we'll
Yeah,
you
definitely want to lose that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just want to add to what she's saying.
No,
Okay.
I'm just answering the question because that was a very question.
We can't understand what you're saying, Miss Mary. Yeah, I'm just going to mute her. Unfortunately, because we can't understand what she's saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Veronica, you were saying something?
Well, it's just that my pet peeve is when I moved back here in the early 1980, when they had the word park put into the name, that area was never called a park. The name park was never used in reference to African American life in Conway. I would argue for taking that out of the name, keeping Whittemore Middle School. I mean, nobody asked, but since Mary brought it up.
Okay, all right, I got you, ladies. I think I got my marching orders.
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious that there's a lot, and the word of the year, I guess last year was entanglement. There's a lot in this entanglement involving Whittemore and the preservation of the facility and the history and all of that. And I think that it just goes to show you that it's even more important now more than ever that we reunite, reconnect to figure out how to tackle, each of these very essential pieces of this Whittemore historical puzzle.
Right.
And one thing that I definitely want us to be clear about, I think that we can't escape the history at all because the history is what it is, and all of us here are a part of it. But there are, two organizations that are working to do two distinct things, and yet what underpins it all is the preservation of the historic impact that Whittemore's had in the community. So hopefully within the next couple of months or maybe by the turn of the year, we'll be able to see more progress when it comes down to the preservation of the elementary school and whatever that endeavor was or is through that particular society that's been formed to tackle that particular challenge. As far as the Whittemore Alumni Association, our focus is primarily the educational piece, the civic piece. So the scholastic piece of all of this is definitely something that we're going to be forging ahead to continue restructuring as under President Annis's leadership. And I think that, the conversation that we've had tonight about every little aspect of Whittemore really does, it should re-energize us. It should make us want to dig deeper into our history and to figure out what we can do to make sure that the name is not wiped off the map and that we do not forget. And, even the stories that Veronica was telling about as she puts it, the diversity in the community, those landmarks are still there. They're just there in a different form. And yet, even someone like me, I have memories of these places existing. And so, in order to preserve our legacy, we're going to have to pass on these stories and pass on any traditions that were created through Whittemore. And, the scholarship drive is definitely a tradition. And so, Miss Annis, I just want to say thank you for your leadership and for, bringing so many wonderful people into the fold, bringing Veronica Gerald Floyd in immediately to help tackle the scholarship piece. And we have others who, we're helping with that, who, we hope will also be a part of that moving forward. And You know, I, as a newbie, I just want to see it grow and prosper. That's what I want to see. And hopefully more people like myself and Vonda and Lakeisha and Lisa and Derek and Eugene and Cheryl and all the ones of us who've come to the table say we'll help. You know, I'm sure that number is going to grow, but we definitely need to make sure that we get in touch with and reconnect with more of you, because we can't do it without all of you at the table. So I just want to say that as we begin to wrap up the show. And Brother Elwood, we did not get back to what they were picking at you about earlier. And I wanted to get back to that, but Miss Mary is buffering so bad. But you know, we'll have other shows where we can actually talk about, you know, life at Whittemore. And I'd like to know more about the educators and what, you know, classroom life was like, and, you know, the athletics and all that other good stuff. So we can definitely use this platform for that. Right, Brother Edward?
Yeah. And I think that you're going to be the if not the first, the second pivotal point for this organization. It seems like your enthusiasm is carrying over as if you graduated from there some time ago, but it's not. It's just your enthusiasm that have caught me. Am I talking correct, Annis? I mean, do you get that impression?
Yes.
And I'm not the only one. I'm not everyone who's come to the table wants to help. They all feel the same way. So
well, yeah, the others haven't been on the broadcast either.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Right.
So, there's more.
So, but it sounds like you all have a good group. You know, to me, there's a lot of pride in that. I'm very proud of that. It sounds like you all have a good group, and it seems like that takes the worry from our next generation that's coming up. Okay, and this is methods for raising funds for all kind of endeavors that's thought of, and you know, I just see positive things coming. I really do. Even though she's on probation, it's just 2 years.
I'm on probation 2 years. I don't know what I did to go on probation for 2 years.
You came from Sand Ridge.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'll take it.
But you know how that
works. All right, well. You know, when you're on probation, they put you in front of a board when your time comes up where you can get off, right? So
that's right.
And you're looking at your board right there with April and her crew. So you got to get on board. So
that's what I'm trying to
so be careful. Be careful. They may reject you trying to get off probation. Okay.
Well, listen, I'm grooming new people now, Edward. I know.
That's funny.
All right, so look, as April said, we can wrap things up, and look, I'm just so thankful to see all of you on this evening to give our viewers a little background, more background. It seems like every time the Alumni Association comes on with background, it's always something new. Okay, we don't have enough time to say all that stuff.
That's
Veronica coming up with her things about what went on near living in front of the canteen and all that kind of stuff.
But you know, I got a lot to tell, don't you?
Yeah. I know.
I think it makes him nervous, Veronica.
I know it should.
Edward, did the crowd have any questions? Are there any questions from the folks?
April?
No, just wonderful comments. You know, they are all applauding the efforts, and hopefully, you know, some of the people who tuned in tonight will be future members, new members. We'll see them at the upcoming meetings and all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching tonight. I do want to make mention, of course, that this coming weekend, there's a lot going on. We have, it's Juneteenth weekend, and there's a ton of Juneteenth celebrations happening all over the place. Wow. We actually, yes, everywhere. So there's a free event in Myrtle Beach. And Veronica, I think you were just a part of a discussion at Charlie's place, yes?
We did. And they're planning to have a big big celebration on Saturday, a parade and everything.
Yes, yeah. So that's going to be Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Charlie's Place, which is at 1420 Carver Street. So because that's going to be from 10 to 9, there'll be plenty of time to do other Juneteenth celebrations and then head on over to the beach if the traffic's not too bad. But definitely want to see that. But also Georgetown is having a Juneteenth celebration on Saturday as well. Starts at 11 with a parade down Merriman Road, and then 12 o'clock a press conference, Family Fest begins, and then from 12:30 to 10 p.m. the Juneteenth Family Festival, Steelworker Square, Gilbert Hazard, and Kaminsky Streets in Georgetown. I know they're gonna have a good time. I know they're gonna have a good time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The only thing missing is that possum stew that they cook down there. All of them have passed away.
Did you say possum stew?
It can make some possum stew in Georgetown. That Zenobia Harper and those mother and grandmother.
Yes. Yeah, wow. And here in Conway is the second annual Juneteenth Soul Food Festival. And that is happening, I believe, in downtown Conway. So you'll have plenty of time to get to that as well. In Bucksport, there is the Still We Rise Juneteenth Celebrating Annual Festival. James R. Fraser Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have a kids corner, food, vendors, entertainment. So there it is. Bucksport is having one. And I wanted to also remind everyone of the West Foundation Golf Tournament, which is also a scholarship fundraiser. The West Foundation is, I guess you could say, owned and operated by Everett Sands. And of course, he is the son of Celia Sands and is doing an excellent job with the West Foundation as a sports foundation, sports camp for student athletes. And so they're having a golf tournament on June 24th at the Hackler Course, and all proceeds go towards their scholarships and their sports camps for kids. And then, we just had the grand opening of that Foot Detox Oxygen Lounge, infrared sauna, red light therapy, salt room, Black owned and operated out on Renee Drive. So make sure you go by and check that out. I think Marcus was supposed to go check that out for us, right, Brother Edward?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. So hopefully we'll get some highlights of that next week. But just want to say, everyone have a safe weekend. It's Father's Day weekend as well. So honor your dads and celebrate with your families. And President Staley, thank you so much for being with us today. Miss Mary, it's great to see you. Thank you for being with us. And Veronica, you look better late than never, because you brought the fever. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, we are looking for members. So if you're interested in being a member, inbox me. You can inbox me on my personal page or through my personal page or the Whittemore Alumni Association page on Facebook. And all of our interest meetings are via Zoom. So that's real convenient for everyone. And plus, we still need to be careful now that the COVID numbers are rising. So it's a really easy way for you to connect with us, to find out how you can be a part of the movement. And as we mentioned earlier, if you would like to send in donations, no amount is too large and too small, all going towards our scholarships. You can mail it to the Whittemore Alumni Association, P.O. Box 1857, Conway, South Carolina 29528. And we will soon have electronic means of for you to donate. So that's coming really soon. So just thank you all for being here tonight.
Look, that's a sign of growth right there. You jumping to the electronic means of sending donation.
Oh yeah.
April, can I say that if anyone wants to record their stories about Whittemore or tell more about their experiences, just give April contact or whatever, and I would be glad to come over and interview you. That will be part of the Whittemore story once it's all together. So somebody coming home for a celebration that lives in the north and they're going to be here for a while, let me know. I'll come over.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we have to get the word out about that. Yeah.
Well, Everett knows we started it already when Nikki Finney was here.
Okay.
It's a completion of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely, right. Man. This is going to be something.
I have a question, Veronica. You may know the answer. I think Coastal did a project several years ago, and they came out to Whittemore.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's it. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one. It was called Starting the Conversation.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
And this is another part of that. I'm going to be giving that, sending that. I just got a link recently, so I can send that to people who were part of that. Edward, I'm going to need your help. Edward really did so much to help me put that together, getting people out there. We interviewed about 32 people, Edward. Is that about right?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
So if we can continue getting those stories, after a while, we can really have a big volume of Whittemore history, Whittemore community, growing up in Conway kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to make one more mention before we go. And I showed this earlier, but there's a lot on the flyer, a lot of information here. But the Mother Emanuel Church down in Charleston is commemorating the 7th anniversary of the massacre and martyrdom that happened in Charleston at the church with the inaugural National Bible Study. It's going to be June 17th at 7 p.m., televised via C-SPAN, live via C-SPAN. And so we'll post this flyer so that you can take a look at it and get more information about how to be a part of it. But thank you, Marjorie McIver and Ms. Blondell, for sending this flyer over so that we could share it this evening. I'm sure it's going to be a very important and essential broadcast. So just wanted to make mention of that. And Brother Edward, I don't have anything else. You can have the last word. We could pitch it to President Staley, whatever you want to do. It's on you.
Oh,
congratulations to all of our candidates who are running for office. Good luck to everybody. And hopefully everyone that we're talking to has done their civil part, voting. Because these grassroots votes, that's the most important. Okay, that is the most important. So that's all I got to say. Except next week, we hope to have something about where I think not that blacks fall short, but maybe this could be applicable to almost any group of people. But we're going to have some dentist education. And we're going to, as our guest is scheduled, is Dr. Taran Hodges. He's an almost new dentist in town. He's been maybe 3 years, 3 years or maybe, and he's going to be our guest. You'll be proud to know him. He's a young gentleman. He's an implant specialist, but he does the roundabout for all of dentistry. Okay, implant and everything else to the root, like for lack of a better word, in dentistry. And so we're going to be featuring him, and he's going to give us some insights and outs on the new technology that's in place where now you can go to the dentist and don't be afraid of the needle. Okay.
Well, look at y'all's reaction. I heard more than that.
Man, I just go for a teeth cleaning, yeah, and he's got to put the needle behind it so that I won't see it. Man, I'm like, I can't pull that. But anyway, there's this new technology out, and he wants to familiarize us with all of that. And he has experience in it all. Wonderful gentleman. So to our viewers, stay tuned. And next week, same time, 7 p.m. That's on the 21st, right? That'll be June 21st. Wow, this month's almost gone.
Almost gone, half of the year.
Wow. Anyway.
Amazing.
Anyway, be with us and for that special guest, and I'm sure you're going to get some good information that everybody's going to use. Okay. Okay. So, on behalf of all of our guests tonight, thank you. I'm a big. I started to say big sister Annis Alston-Staley, but. Staley, Hey, you're talking about, look, no, it hadn't been said yet, but I have to remind everybody that was Miss Whittemore in 1963. Okay.
Annis, did you say Annis was Miss Whittemore?
Yeah.
1963, yeah. Miss Whittemore, I've got it on my computer, and I'm sorry, Annis, but when you come back on again, we'll make sure that you're being seen.
Well, I have to retract a lot of things I said about Whittemore and Queen.
Yeah, well, we've got a portrait, by the way, and if anybody's interested, we've got a poster showing all of the Miss Whittemores.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of Miss Whittemore from
well, yeah, brother, we need that.
Yeah, from 1950 to 1970. Okay.
I have most of the addresses too.
Huh?
The addresses
Of
the Miss Whittemores.
Oh, well, I don't know the addresses.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh, you have all of them. Okay, all right. Well, look, we're heading in the right direction. I mean, a lot of things to look forward to with our new president there. And thank you, Miss Veronica Gerald Floyd. She's now Miss Floyd, famous husband. I'm going to say my brother Jimmy Floyd. Yeah.
He said famous.
I know he's looking good.
Make sure you tell Mr. Jimmy that, Veronica.
Yeah, I know he's looking.
He's gonna laugh.
And Miss Mary, thank you for sticking it out with us, even though you were buffering. You were still getting your point across. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Mary Edna Skinner Jones.
I know it.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave this broadcast. I'm gonna show the video again of our scholarship recipients, and again, we'll be back next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thank you all for joining us, and we really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
All
Good
right.
night.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.